So much for joining us. It is nobody's, I'm trying to play the devil's advocate here, it is nobody's case that even under the earlier regime, everything was kosher, that no unaccounted funds were flowing to political parties. At least now, and this is the rationale coming in from the government, at least now we have a situation that only after completing KYC, only after in keeping with banking regulations, can one go ahead and buy electoral bonds, and therefore no black money. At least that's the assurance coming in from the government. How would you respond to that, Mr. Hegde?
Well, black money is not exactly just money in cash. Black money is money which has evaded taxation. And quite apart from black money, there is also the question of whether these bonds were contributed out of a fear that the government would be coming out after them, so that it becomes protection money. Or was it given because there was some favor done in respect of government policy? That could very well be corruption. Today, the situation is this, that even if the bank has a KYC, or that such and such company has contributed so that that money is paid over in the form of electoral bonds, the question is, who is behind the company? Does the bank know that? So supposing a Tiger Corp pays money, does the bank know where its source of funds are from? It could very well have come from the overseas route. It could have very well come from anywhere. So this thing that at the last mile, you know who is it who has purchased the electoral bond, is not assurance enough against lots of anonymous money finding its way into the political system with its own consequences. How do you prevent fear? How do you prevent favor? How do you prevent people from skewing the elections? Now, it's a well-known fact, for instance, that almost all the money collected through the electoral bonds route goes only to one party. Does that party not get an unfair advantage? Is that free and fair elections? Many questions do arise.
Sure. Let me also bring in Professor Chokar on that. Professor Chokar, one of the concerns that the petitioners have raised is anonymity. Is that the concern, that the bonds are bought from the SBI Bank? SBI is not bound to disclose. Political parties are not required to disclose. The companies who are making these donations are also not required to make a disclosure. Is this anonymity the main concern, the chief concern that the petitioners are looking to highlight before the top court?
You see, anonymity of money is always a concern. And it is very nice for the government and even for you to say that SBI is not required to disclose. SBI is not required to disclose to whom? Can SBI refuse to disclose to the finance ministry or to the finance ministry? And once it is disclosed to the finance ministry, can it not be known to the finance minister? And if it's known to the finance minister, would it not be known to the party to which the minister belongs? The fact that Mr. Hegde was referring to, that bulk of the money goes to one political party, the reason is that one political party, the party in the government, knows who is buying these bonds. And therefore, that particular party is in a position to get all those bonds for itself. So the whole playing field is entirely skewed in favor of the ruling party. And you say the political parties also do not know who gives it to them. I mean, who is fooling whom? I give you a bond. I give it in your hand. Don't you know who's giving it to you? Political parties obviously know who is giving them the bonds, and therefore quid pro quo continue to happen. And the public at large is being told there is anonymity. There is really no anonymity, my friend. It is anonymity only in name. The person who is giving money and the party which is taking money, both of them know it. It is only people who are in the dark. And if you want to believe that I mean, you were being the devil's advocate, which is very nice. But if you want to believe that the person who's giving and the person who's taking, they both know, but it is anonymity because I don't know. It is like a, that ostrich with his head in the sand. If that is the way we want democracy to function, well, I am not comfortable with it.
Right, Professor Chokar, you've pointed out some of these concerns here. In fact, speaking of the concerns, one of the concerns that the petitioners have raised before the top court also is that this opens the door to funding coming in from foreign corporates, foreign funds flowing in into the Indian system. Mr. Hegde, how would you reflect on that? Are there enough safeguards under this current regime that has been introduced via the Finance Act 2017? Or is there a window that is available for foreign funds to start coming in, to start buying electoral bonds from SBI within the given windows?
Foreign funds can buy electoral bonds through routing it through an Indian company. Now, a company which is 51% Indian owned can always buy electoral bonds. Now, you have companies by the dozen which are floated for all sorts of purposes, quite apart from contributing to elections. Now, irrespective of whether that company is making a profit or not making a profit, if they can buy, if they are domiciled in India, they can buy electoral bonds, and in turn, they can get investment from wherever in the world that they can attract investment. So there is certainly a route for foreign funds to come in. But foreign funds is only one of the issues. The real issue is how can you then be sure that this money is not used as a performance bonus or as protection money?
Interesting points. Professor Chokar, we're running out of time, so I'll come to you for the final word. As far as this debate is concerned, if not electoral bonds, then what? That's the question that many ask. What is the way out of this entire situation? There are concerns that you've raised with electoral bonds, but if not this, do we go back to the earlier regime? Is that the answer? What is the way out of it? Or is there a via media that's possible, perhaps requiring the SBI to make public disclosure so that there's not not anonymity as far as the electoral bonds are concerned? Is that a via media? Is it a via media to have perhaps a cap on how much a corporate can distribute through political donations? What is the way out of this situation?
There's only one way out, which is a very simple way out. All money that any political party receives should be through transparent banking channels. That is the end of the story. There is nothing more, nothing less. Anything that you do trying to find a via media will have 25 loopholes. Why can't political parties declare how much money do they get? You know, when demonetization happened, it was said that even a vegetable seller should accept digital payment. Why can't political parties accept digital payments only? I don't see what is the problem. The whole country supposedly is a world leader in digital payments, but our political parties are not in a position to accept digital payments. That is the only and the simplest solution. There is no other solution, any other solution that anybody comes up with. I will find 25 loopholes in that.
Right, Professor Chokar, thank you so much for your insight and your perspective. These are valuable comments and thoughts. We'll, of course, begin to see how these arguments develop as the Supreme Court takes up this case for final hearing, October 31st. That's the key date. Mark your calendar. That's perhaps when we can begin to get more clarity on the way forward on electoral bonds. Professor Chokar, Mr. Hegde, thank you so much for joining us with your comments. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of News Center. More news and updates will continue on the other side.